think if you look at the capital flows coming from the different jurisdictions, I would say if you take only this year, I think looking to the US, there was a lot of US money coming into France, very much opportunistic money, which was distributed, I would say, or co-invested with a number of local players who are well placed in the market. That is something which we experience very, very much here. Then we have seen that a number of South Korean money was floating around, visiting, but not really acting. They're interested since a couple of years already, but they have never ever really come in a significant way. There were one or two investments from South Korean insurance companies indirectly via asset managers, but it was not directly done. Then you see certainly Asian money. I think the last big transaction I recall a couple of weeks ago, hotel business, 1.2 billion. I think it was a nice portfolio that Chinese investors have bought here in France. That was the former Tétinger hotel group, which was bought by them. So they're also around. And what we are seeing also, due to London, our London office, who are handling a number of high net worth individuals, that we get also a lot of request and demand from, let's say, from Dubai, from Saudi Arabia, from Azerbaijan, where really these people have a lot of money, and to the distress of a number of banks, they don't need any financing, or they do only financing because they do it for avoiding, I'd say, wealth tax or whatever you may have on the card. But I think there's also a lot of money coming in from private investors who are able to raise very quickly 500, 600 million euros and come with a massive amount of money around. So I would, in a nutshell, I would say we see American money coming for opportunistic, then we see a little bit money coming in from China and Asia. We're expecting a little bit coming out of Indonesia and Malaysia. Therefore, we have an office in Jakarta now. And insofar, I think that is what we are seeing, and the high net worth individuals we are handling on the legal side already with their trusts in London. They're coming also now over, looking into France to find the right subjects, very often in hotel business, very often in huge buildings, and so forth. And surprise, surprise, we are doing a lot of refinancing, actually, for a number of funds. As a German in Paris, you may imagine that I have good relationships with the German funds who are up for liquidation. So the magic date is 2017, and so far we are busy trying to get the financing up to the 2017, which is not an easy task for us, because everybody is saying, well, you're on the exit, what should we do with you? So I think there's also coming in, and I think that is also the trend I see, that a lot of people are questioning if there's not something coming out of this obligation to liquidate, if they cannot catch up off market one or the other asset, which will be on the market anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit not funny, but interesting what you were saying regarding the Korean and Chinese, because at CBRE, and I will focus maybe obviously on Paris, what we're experiencing is that we are in direct contact with a number of South Korean funds. Asian equity is only representing currently less than 2% in what has been invested in year 2014 in the Paris market. However, I can tell you that we, for instance, sold a tower in La Défense. We had offers on behalf of Korean. We are currently completing the sale of a tower in eastern part of Paris, which is called Eastview. We had offer on behalf of Korean. We've sold also Thales Community Securities headquarters in Gennevilliers. We had offers on behalf of Korean. We were working on the former headquarters of the SNCF in Paris. We had offers on Korean. So they are really, really present on the market. Next year will be, let's not say sort of fireworks of Korean purchase, but they are about to be even much more successful in their purchase. Regarding Chinese, it looks like Chinese have started maybe more in London. The amount of money they invested in London is tremendous this last 4 months and this last month, and now they're starting to be in Paris. More, let's say, for some of them looking at, understanding, and some others maybe more discreetly taking some shares among some property company or things like this. So they are really in the position to be one of the most important buyers within the coming years.
Maybe a little bit more Americans, and as a matter of fact, they represent, I think, like 15% in 2014. But definitely the French investors represent mostly 2/3 of the investment in France. So yes, we meet some people, but they are still waiting for better macros, and not only on the long term, but also on the short term. And we are still on the radar. They know that it's a very deep market. We have to remember that Paris is one of the widest markets in Europe. La Défense, which is a passionate market, is the biggest office hub in Europe. So, of course, it is a place to invest. But the question is when and how much. I think that everyone is ready. They have been ready for quite a long time now. And so the idea for us is to keep the focus and to change.